The black family, before I let you get on out of here, I made a suggestion that I thought would help the black family in the years.
I love this.
And it's not just the black family, it's families all over the place. We were talking about men and women, and somebody asked me a question, and I brought up a strong 7. And I said, if you're a man out there and you want to be happy, you want a strong 7. The 10, no, she's a 10, it's too much drama. Okay, the 9 thinks she's a 10. That's too much drama. The 8 already knows that she's probably a 9, so even though it's not as much drama, it's still going to cause you some issues. But the 7, the strong 7, knows that she's beautiful enough, she's smart enough, she brings enough to the table, but in the same breath, her ego is not out of control to the point where it will force your ego to infiltrate the proceedings and nothing gets accomplished. That was my argument for a strong 7. Eboni K Williams, was I correct in my assessment?
I vehemently agree with the strong 7 argument.
But you vehemently what?
I vehemently agree.
Agree.
That the strong 7 is best positioned. I'll go further. She's best positioned, Stephen A., to partner with the I don't want to say average. People get mad when I say average or mediocre. They get real mad. She's best positioned to partner with the majority of available. How about that? Majority of available men, and it's for all the reasons you said. And I actually identified this in my early 20s, like coming out of law school, and I realized that some of the things that myself and my female counterparts were priding ourselves on, being really, really well educated, being very well accomplished, being pretty, but like pretty in a way that society deems is particularly valuable, because we know there's actual pretty and then there's kind of marketability, if you will, the kind of objective standard. And those things really just did not translate on the dating marketplace. And imagine how perplexed some of us were. But I said to my girlfriends long ago, I said, y'all, all of this 9s and 10s, we might be in that space, even 8s. It's not going to serve us the competitive advantage when it relates to our sisters, who I'm even going to say 6 and 7s. Why? Because you got to really look at what the market, and we're talking about, and this is through a hetero lens, of course, this is what men want. What do men really want, Stephen A.? I'm going to say some things, and I want you to confirm or deny.
Sure. I'll do that for you. I
really invite that.
I'm ready.
I don't believe that she figured the theory out when she was in her 20s, because she wasn't even saying these same things a handful of years ago. She went viral after the whole bus driver comment. Then at one point, not too long after that, it seemed like she kind of had some sense about her, but let's see what she got to say. And that might have been Cap 2 in the past.
I think men want to be affirmed. I think men want energy that is agreeable. I think men want, generally speaking. Yes. This is all general.
Generally speaking,
I think men want women who are available. And what I mean by that is their schedules, their literal schedules. When I pull out my phone and you pull out yours, it's not 3 weeks.
Oh, we're not taking This ain't Boomerang with Eddie Murphy. You're not putting us on the waiting list. We don't need you. We don't need you. Oh, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. No, you're absolutely right.
So some of these are the things that men are most desirous of. And no, you can't be so unattractive that you get kicked out the bed, let's be clear. Right. But as long as you said it, pretty enough, attractive enough, those other things are going to supersede in terms of what the man wants. Now, I will say this as somebody, I'm just going to give myself 8 and above. I'm going to just do that.
You should.
I'm going to just do that.
I co-sign that.
Okay.
I co-sign that.
Okay. I believe that I'll speak for myself. I am acutely aware, Stephen A., of the adjustments that I would need to make in order to be more desirable on the dating market.
Well, may I ask what are those adjustments?
I'm
just asking. You brought it up.
I'm all ears.
You did say
it would be some of the things we mentioned, right? Like I would need to make more time. I can imagine what your schedule looks like.
Right.
Mine might not look. It doesn't look identical, but it's probably not far off at this point. I tape a show on the West Coast. Last time I saw you, where were we?
Yeah,
in the air.
Flying back from
LA.
LA.
We were literally in
flying
the
back
air.
From LA.
We were 30,000 feet in the air.
That's right.
So there's a bi-coastal lifestyle issue that I think would need some attention if I was to really get serious about trying to partner right now. There is an intensity that I'm a very serious-minded woman, right? I deal with serious issues.
Yeah, you can't be with a dingbat. Can't be with you. It ain't gonna work. He got to have some level of intellect. He don't have a chance.
And honestly,
Right.
even if I wanted to give him a chance, which I have done historically, don't tell nobody, I really wouldn't be as attracted. There's something about the attraction. You know, if you, there's a primalness to, you know, especially when we talk about heterosexual men and women, there's a primalness to how we are attracted to one another. And in order for me, who still very much, despite my intensity and my intellect and all this, you know, kind of what we would consider masculine alpha shit, right? Excuse me, I don't know if I can cuss on here.
You
Anyway,
can. Oh, go ahead.
I'm still very, you've known me for a long time. You've known me almost 10 years, Stephen A. I am still very much, very feminine, very soft in many ways, and I'm still like a Southern belle in a lot of capacities. I'm born and raised North Carolina. Let's go. So those things still, that receptacle energy is still very real for me. So now I need a masculine energy that can, just almost overperform.
And you know what it is too, if I
Please.
may say this right.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Women need to know this. Women need to know this.
I think
Okay.
so.
All right. First of all, you gotta allow a man to be a man. Here's what I mean by that.
Please.
You have a lot of women out there who don't want to be quote unquote objectified. You don't want a man looking at you and he desires what he sees. This is what they say, a lot of
That's
them.
what they say.
That's what they say. And I'm going like this. So you want him not to desire what he's looking at when he looks at you? What kind of sense does that make? And not only that, don't get me wrong, he don't need to be classless. He don't need to approach you and be too forward.
Let me just be clear.
And I agree, he doesn't have to be classless, but they shame masculinity is looked down upon by society. But those same women know they want masculine men.
Listening, that's not my issue.
Right.
You know this about
That's
me, I
right.
think.
Yes, I do.
I'm a pageant queen, for God's sakes.
Right.
I pride myself on one of the things, in fact, there are also men, since we're going to do this,
That's right.
that pretty stuff don't mean that much to them.
Right.
It just don't. It's like you say, pretty enough, that's fine. If you are a man that average to a slightly above average aesthetic works for you, I am not your woman.
Right.
I'm not. Because I am for a man who values probably 9 out of 10 times when we walk into the room, you've probably got the prettiest lady on your arm. Yeah. And that doesn't mean
But you can pull that off.
Right.
I can't hold most women accountable for that.
I'm sorry, did she just say she's, wow, no offense, Eboni K Williams, you're not all that. Probably was decent looking when you were about 10 to 15 years younger, but you're not all that. I'm kind of surprised by that ego.
Because most of them can't pull it off like that.
I understand, and those
Right.
are but you asked me what adjustments would I make?
Right.
Those are some of the adjustments. I would consider men, because I know that's one of my, it's like cards. You know your strong suit.
Right.
That's one of my strong suits.
But where I was going was this. I wasn't just talking about, I didn't mean
Oh, she
objectified
ain't
in
no
a literal
8.
sense. I'm talking about you being a guy.
Yeah.
You coveting what you see. You wanting to be turned on by your significant other. You wanting to feel as if you're married, but you want to feel like you felt when you were dating. You don't want to feel like monotony and mundaneness is kicked in, and you're just going through the regular rigmarole of life, and it's devoid of excitement, suspense, intrigue, or whatever word might be appropriate in that regard.
It better be you,
right?
because if it's not you,
it's going to be somebody else.
Yeah, so I think that is an issue on its own, and that's on an island. I think for more women like myself and how I'm describing these 8s and above, we got that part, most of us, in terms of we're going to make you, that attraction piece is something that we're going to put energy into, because we know that's how we got you. Right? Okay? I think it's the intensity. I think it's the constant. Okay. One of the best things I think about me, Stephen A., as a friend, as a romantic partner, as a daughter, even to my mother. If you are interested in being the very best version of yourself, I'm a very good person to have in your life.
Yes. Because you'll push them.
I'm a push you.
You'll push them.
I'm a push you.
Right.
Everybody don't like to be pushed. And I don't think in the romantic context, I've learned in real time that it is super appreciated from your romantic partner.
But the other part to that is knowing when. Like, for example, you got to know, because as a man, what we value is when you know us and we don't have to tell you. You've been around us long enough. You figured us out. You didn't just spend moments enjoying us. You actually studied us, got to know us, have a mastering of us to some degree where we don't have to tell you. You know, you might, you know when we want to go out. You know when we're not interested in going out. You know when we want to get down. You know when we don't want to. You have an idea of who he is without him having to tell you, because it tells him you've paid attention to what works for him, which elevates his level of faith in you that you will ultimately figure things out and y'all will flow along more smoothly than not.
I love that. And I think that most women, need to spend more time with that figuring out piece. And I would also declare, Brother Stephen A. Smith, that the chief complaint that I know I felt in my relationship, because this is the problem. I've never had a problem attracting men. I believe you believe that.
I believe that.
Okay.
I believe that.
What I find has happened historically is that men are very attracted, not just to the aesthetic, but also even to, we'll call it the resume, right? They like what it looks like, what it presents like. And then they actually get to know me. And they realize they actually are fans,
right.
if I can just be totally honest with you.
Okay.
They're fans. They respect it. They look up to it. Oftentimes it's something they find aspirational, but they don't really know how to engage in it on a daily basis.
But you know why that is, right?
She's a bit of an egomaniac. I don't know why I'm surprised by that, but saying that all the men that you've been attracted to in relationships were fans of yours, wow.
Because you're not a fool. Your level of intellect, your principled position.
That's it right there.
The combination of the two things. There's certain things dudes just ain't getting away with. And if you run across a woman that it is clear as day, you got no shot at getting away with the nonsense, you're like, damn. Path of easiest resistance. More men than not all men, but more men than not,
I think that's
will
right.
take a path of easiest resistance.
And I don't fault them. That's why what you don't hear me doing is being on these YouTube streets and Instagram streets complaining about it. I recognize that because I choose that principal position, and this is the same ailment, if you will, Stephen A., that I suffer professionally.
Right.
You know, there's shows that I've been in the ring for.
That's
that
right.
some people in this room didn't know.
That's right.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
That's right. We ain't got to say anything, but we know it's true. Absolutely.
But because of that principle thing, my mom get mad about it. She's like, girl, you know how much money you leave on the table with them damn principles. But and she's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
And how many men might be on the table, so to speak. To your point, I believe you're 100% correct. But I just this is where my faith kicks in, just to kind of wrap it on up. This is where I believe what God has for me is for me, and it will never miss me. I truly believe that. Not a job, not a show, and not a divine life partner.
Right.
That man is out there. He will find me. I don't have to go looking.
Okay, I'm done. Yeah, like I say quite often, God don't like y'all nearly as much as you think. Eboni K Williams, she's masculine. She's not overly masculine, but just masculine in her way of thinking. And I was kind of taken back there when she called herself an 8 and also kept referring to her aesthetics as if she's an extremely attractive woman. She's an average looking woman, and there's nothing wrong with being average. As I stated earlier, probably a bit hotter when she was younger, like most people. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. She seems a bit jaded and saying that the men that she's been in a relationship with have been fans of hers. That's crazy, and I would love to hear their take on it as well. You guys let me know. Do Better Squad. Fall out.